Before the story begins, tell me where in this vast wild world you're tuning in from. Type your city or country in the comments. It always warms me to see how far these frontier tales travel. The sun hung low, a soft golden smear on the edge of the world, spilling warmth over the barren scrubland and the stillness that surrounded it. Colt Mercer sat easy in the saddle, his mare shifting beneath him, uneasy from the scent of blood in the air. He wasn't looking for trouble, just water, maybe the peace that came after a long day's labor. But when he turned his horse into the wind, he saw it there, tied to a post like a dog for trade. A woman. No, not just a girl, she was a woman. Her arms were bound above her head, her long black hair matted with dust and sweat, her cheek bruised, purple blooming over the bone. And there, sitting in the shade like a man selling pelts, was the traitor Dobbs, chewing tobacco. She raised her head slowly as Colt rode closer. Her eyes were too steady for someone who had been caged. They held something ancient, something fierce, something noble. Colt couldn't name it, not yet. But he felt it, the same feeling you get just before a storm hits. He didn't ask what Dobbs wanted for her. Didn't ask who she'd been taken from or how far they'd marched her. Didn't ask why no one had spoken up for her. His hand moved to the rifle at his side and stayed there, firm and quiet. "She ain't yours," Dobbs growled. "No," Colt replied, his voice calm as he dismounted. "She ain't yours either." The woman didn't speak. She didn't flinch when the rope was cut. She stood on her own, her wrists raw, the skin pulled and battered. When she staggered, Colt caught her gently, as if she might break, though he knew she had endured more than he ever had. Her eyes didn't meet his again until they were miles away, riding through the dusk and the wind toward the solitude he called home. That night, she said nothing. She took the water he offered, but refused the bread. He gave her his mother's old shawl, set a cot near fire, and kept his rifle within reach. She didn't look at the flames, just sat staring into the dark, her back straight, her silence louder than thunder. Colt sat on the porch till Thesters came out. Somewhere in the hills, a coyote cried, and he felt it in his ribs. Not fear, just the reminder of how wild this land still was, and how little of it belonged to men like him. At dawn, he found her standing by the coral barefoot, eyes fixed on his mare. "Shenos," Comanche words, the woman said softly. Her voice was dry wind on stone. Colt blinked. "You speak English?" She nodded once, touching the horse's. "My mother taught me before shedded." He stepped closer, but not to. "Name's Cole," she didn't offer her. By evening, she swept the porch, folded the wool blanket he'd left for her, refused to eat in front of him. But when he stepped outside, she drank the coffee he left by her bed. Every act was a line drawn in sand. Neither advance nor retreat, just survival made in. On the third day, she stitched tear in his shirt without being gasped, sat by the fire, humming something old, something from Theory Verbanks and Wind Places. That night, he caught her tracing a scar near his. He didn't move. "They did that?" she asked. "No, different war." She looked at him then, as if weighing whether he was shaped by mercy or by violence. "Maybe both." "I am Nieli," she said at last, "daughter of Greyhawk." Thinham struck him cold, not with fear, but consent. Colt stood slow and thoughtful, like a man realizing he'd lit a fire in dry brush. "You are Comanche," he said. "I was taken by Kayascouns," she replied. "Sold to You're a war prize." "I am not a prize." He nodded. Didn't mean it that. She turned back to the fire, then didn't say it again. He slept poorly after that, not from threat, but weight. He had not just sheltered a woman. He had sheltered a daughter of one of their most feared war archives and if they came, they'd come. But no one came. Not until the 6th morning. Smoke rose on the edge of Tills. A quiet column to still Tobe campfire. Too intentional. Colt watched from the porch, rifle across his. Nearly stepped beside him, her fingers brushing his coat sleeve. They found me, she said. They'll come before dusk. He said nothing. Just poured her a cup of coffee and handed it to her like a man handing something holy. By late afternoon, they appeared, 20 writers in war paint and silence, thickened of quiet that made animals spook and children cry. Colt walked out unarmed, stood tall beneath the appendix. A man dismounted, tall, silver-haired face, carved by sun and time. Greyhawk, he looked at Neela first, then Colt. You returned, my daughter, he said, his English thick but clear. I didn't take her. You kept her. Colt nodded once. I owe you. You didn't, Colt said. I just couldn't ride past. Greyhawk studied him. There is one thing I will offer. Colt stiffened. You saved blood of mine. You may join our. Colt blinked. What? Marry her, the chief said plainly. Take her as you. She will not be dishonored, by kept in a white man's cabin. She'll not be a shadow. Naily didn't even flinch. Just sip at her coffee. Colt looked at her. Is this what you want? She held his gaze. I want to decide, not be traded again. Greyhawk nodded. She chooses. Nearly turned to her father. I will stay, but not his wife. Not yet. I have to know who I am without tribe or chains. The old man did not argue. You are blood. But you, airwoman now. So choose. And she stayed, not with ceremony. Not with fanfare, just stayed. She helped Colt mend fences, fed the chickens, cleaned tools with oil and cloth. She never asked to be taught, but she watched and learned. Colt began to talk again, not much, but more than. He told her about his mother's death, about a Comanche girl he'd once celebed who'd been hanged by soldiers. How he'd stopped feeling like a man after. Nearly listened. She never judged, just nodded slowly and handed him nails one. His hands were too full. One afternoon he found her, by the orchard cupping a baby bird in her palms. Its wing is broken, she whispered. Can't fix. We try, she said. We try for small things. Her voice broke something inside her. Another evening they sat on Tepech. She pointed at the moon. In Comanche, it means guiding sister. When it is full, we believe women fit. He smiled. The first real 9 years. You got clarity. She didn't. Just laid her head against his holder for a while. Then she was gone. No fight, no farewell, just her shawl folded on the cot. Her moccasins missing from the hearth. Colt searched all day, found hoofprints, then campfire ash, then finally her. She stood at the edge of her tribe's camp, speaking with. When she saw him, she didn't. Just walked halfway to meet him, like she had no doubt he'd come. I had to say goodbye, she said to the Partaf that bowed. And now? Colt asked. She looked up at him. Now I choose. I want morning coffee, quiet porch, and someone Yuho watches without owning. He reached for her hand. Didn't take it. Just panned his palm. She placed hers in it. Months passed. Seasons shifted. Colt's ranch came alive. Fields greener, Theachard heavy with bloom. Nearly sanguine she worked, her voice soft, as neighbors talked, some scoffed, others just watched. One man rode up. Heard you married royalty, Hesed. Colt smiled. No, I married Samin, who reminded me what it meant to breathe. That night, rain fell, soft and steady. Nieli set a lantern in the window. So you can always find your way back, she said. He brushed a lock o' fair from her cheek. I ain't going anywhere. She touched his face, fingers feather light. I know. And in that moment, Colt Mercer, the man who once watched the world from the shadows, felt seen, truly seen. Not as a rancher, not as a rescuer, but as a man worth staying for. And that made all the difference. Sometimes the wild doesn't take from you. Sometimes it gives something back quietly in the form of a woman, walked barefoot out of the fire and into your arms. So if you ever see someone on the edge of your world tied by silence or shame, don't ride past. She might bait one to untie you.